I think he's probably excited about that too. I mean, your first time to go in the NFL. I remember mine. I mean, I didn't get to play until the last 2 minutes of the game, but it's something that he'll remember forever. I mean, most of us have dreamt about this moment, since we were 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. So for him to get a chance to go out there and actually take the field, even though it's preseason.
I mean, he's funny, he's optimistic, he's lighthearted, but he works hard. He takes it seriously, his craft, and he's watching what the others are doing and doing it his own way in which only he can. So, looking forward to see him, during these preseason games and how he manages the offense.
What in the NFL multiverse is going on? Myles Garrett and Joe Flacco just hit the internet like a quarterback sack from 2016, going viral for what they said about Shedeur Sanders taking that QB1 spot. Did Flacco finally give up the throne? Is Garrett secretly a Shedeur superfan? Are we living in primetime Cleveland now? Stick around because this madness is real, hilarious, and absolutely cooking, just like Shedeur's highlight reel. Let's get into the chaos.
Here to see Shedeur Sanders on the field against another team live action. So Joe didn't say nothing toxic, or he didn't put nothing, bad out there or whatever. They go with the clicks and views. People will say he said something crazy, but he was being respectful of Shedeur Sanders, man, being the vet that he is, the mentor that he is to Shedeur, as Shedeur gets ready to go in there and start his first preseason game, his first NFL game, man. And who would have thought coming into this whole situation that the first game against the Carolina Panthers and Jimmy Horn, you would have Shedeur Sanders as the starting quarterback going in there. So he has
Myles Garrett throws quarterbacks like lawn chairs. Joe Flacco wears his Super Bowl ring like a polite reminder he's not your average clipboard holder. But today, both of them might have just accidentally lit the fuse on Cleveland's wildest offseason subplot, Shedeur Sanders. QB1? Yes, you heard that right. The Browns are trending. And it's not because Deshaun Watson forgot what team he plays for again. It's because Garrett and Flacco just said something that made fans spit out their $9 nachos.
I'm already seeing articles about, are the Browns setting Shedeur Sanders up to fail as he opens up his NFL career on Friday night against Carolina? And I was trying to understand the logic behind this because he hasn't been taking reps as the first string quarterback. He's been with second and third teamers. Well, now he's going to be there with the first teamers against Carolina. I don't know how that sets him up to fail. Now you're with more talented players that you might have on your team when you're the starting quarterback at some point during the NFL season.
And suddenly, primetime isn't just in Boulder anymore. It's leaking into Cleveland like hot sauce on white pants. Everyone's confused. Is this real life? Did the face of Colorado's glam squad offense just get casually name-dropped by two of the most serious dudes in the AFC North? Is this what a Browns fever dream feels like?
Shedeur Sanders is going to be starting in the first preseason game as QB1 against the Carolina Panthers at 7 o'clock Eastern Time, August 8th. Now, I don't know if he jumped up from 4 to 1, or I don't know if they're just trying to see exactly what they're working with. Or we don't know if they're just trying to throw him to the fire. All I know is this is not his first rodeo when the pressure is on. He has always been able to overcome, and I think he was born for moments like this, and it's against the Carolina Panthers. I don't see too much of a threat when it comes to their defensive line. I don't see too much of a threat when it comes to their secondary.
Cut to the dog pound spiraling. Twitter's already renamed the stadium Primetime Energy Stadium. One guy made a Flacco Mentors Shedeur jersey, homemade of course, because nothing says Cleveland like duct tape and delusion. But beneath the memes and melted cheese lies a very real question. Could this kid actually be the future? Because let's face it, when Garrett lifts a brow and Flacco smirks, something's brewing. Either it's confidence or chaos, or both.
I think he looks good, but all the guys look good right now.
G3, I saw this on social media yesterday. His opinion is that Sanders is being set up to fail. I don't think they're doing it deliberately. These are the Browns. I don't think they couldn't set up anyone to fail. If they set someone up to fail, they're going to succeed. I think this is just the circumstance. Dylan Gabriel's injured. Kenny Pickett's injured. Joe Flacco's in bubble wrap because he's the week 1 starter. Tyler Huntley just got there. But it's going to be, as Kevin Stefanski said yesterday, Sanders and Huntley in the preseason opener.
And nobody does chaos like the Cleveland Browns. This team has had more quarterbacks than the Kardashians have exes. 27 starting quarterbacks in a decade. That's not a stat, that's a trauma response. You can't even name all of them without needing an oxygen tank and therapy. One guy fumbled on his own face. Another threw the ball into Lake Erie, metaphorically. And then there's Deshaun Watson, supposed to be the franchise savior, now starring in Injured Reserve, the sequel.
Big game coming tomorrow. So let's just start there. A lot of excitement in the city here, Nick.
Yeah, listen, a preseason game, especially the first one here in early August, doesn't really generally have a lot of juice, but this one does, and that is because of the approaches and the availabilities of each team's quarterback. So Bryce Young will start this game. Remember last year, Dave Canales, then a rookie head coach, chose not to put Bryce Young out there until the last of 3 preseason games. And that went for the other starters as well. So by the time they got to week 1 in New Orleans, they just did not look in sync, did not look together. In fact,
Watson's contract is the financial equivalent of lighting $1 billion on fire and roasting marshmallows over it. Fully guaranteed, massively bloated, and currently powering 0 wins. And with every injury or setback, the Browns are left squinting at their depth chart like it's a scratch-off ticket. Maybe, just maybe, something's underneath that backup label that's worth cashing in. Then there's Joe Flacco, the calm in the Cleveland Storm. He's got the dad energy swagger of a man who's seen it all and still chooses to wear New Balances unironically. He came in, played his role, and almost dragged the team into relevance using nothing but experience and spite. But Joe isn't the future. He's the break glass in case of emergency guy. And Cleveland's glass is already more cracks than pain. Which brings us to the dilemma. Do you keep shuffling broken pieces, or do you take a leap and finally build something worth keeping?
Dude, now you're talking about a situation where he's possibly to a point where we're talking about him really being a part of this franchise, man. Because right now it's just kind of up in the air. We don't know what's going on. They just signed another quarterback, Tyler Huntley. So it's just one of those situations, man. It's like I think everybody's trying to find out what's necessarily going to go on with this and why is, this the move. Just looking at something.
Enter Shedeur Sanders. The moment he stepped on the field at Colorado, it wasn't just football, it was television. The poise, the timing, the drip. The dude was running an NFL-style offense in a college environment that looked more like a rap concert with shoulder pads. While most college QBs are busy panicking under pressure, Shedeur was calmly dissecting defenses like he was grading homework. He's not just Deion's kid. He's a walking marketing campaign wrapped in elite footwork and a deep ball that lands like poetry. He's media-ready, camera-trained, and unbothered by chaos, which, coincidentally, not when every hit looked like it came with a free chiropractic adjustment. And while some QBs get rattled, Shedeur got louder. He's been bred for pressure, and now, somehow, his name's being floated in a locker room with real Super Bowl aspirations. The Browns aren't just looking for talent, they're looking for stability, for a quarterback who can handle the playbook and the city's decades of QB PTSD.
Shedeur Sanders, the teammate of Travis Hunter at Colorado and the guy that made it all the way to pick number 144 before being selected by the Browns. He's 4th on the depth chart, but he's number 1 in the preseason opener for Cleveland. Myles Garrett addressing the question with reporters of how Sanders has conducted himself during his rookie training camp. Here he is.
And Stefanski's system? Built for guys like Shedeur. It's all about timing routes, precision reads, and composure in the pocket. You don't need a hero, you need someone who doesn't turn every third down into a panic attack. Shedeur fits that mold, but adds flair. Imagine a quarterback who nails the play and the post-game outfit, and don't overlook the marketing angle. The NFL's not just a game anymore, it's a spectacle, and no one's drawing eyeballs like the Sanders family. You add Shedeur to a team with a defense led by Garrett, and suddenly the Browns have something they haven't had in forever: identity. Something beyond just sad quarterback memes and existential dread. Garrett's not one to hype rookies lightly, and Cleveland desperately needs a possibility. Because what's the alternative? Keep riding the Watson roller coaster? Pin all hopes on Flacco's surgically repaired knees and vintage charm? The Browns can't afford another lost season. Not with that defense, not with that window.
But we're already, it's already shifting towards, what happens if, he doesn't do well in the first game? I think they're they're having him start because everybody else is injured. I don't know if that's setting him up for failure. You need somebody to play quarterback. I don't think Teddy Bridgewater's ready to play. It's a great opportunity for Shedeur Sanders. I hope he does well. And you get to play with the first team and maybe take some first team reps today and get ready for Friday night's game against Carolina. But I don't think he's being set up to fail.
and certainly not with a fan base that's seen enough false dawns to write a soap opera. That's why this Shedeur moment matters. It's more than a viral comment, it's a crack in the foundation of the old way of thinking. It's a chance for the Browns to actually build forward, not just duct tape their way to 9 wins. And yeah, maybe it started with a smirk. Maybe it sounded like a joke. But in Cleveland, where quarterback hope is rarer than a sunny December, even a smirk can spark a revolution. And guess what? Shedeur's already got the look, the poise, the calm confidence of a guy who knows exactly where the cameras are and exactly where to put the football. The dog pound might not be ready for prime time, but prime time might be ready for the dog pound. It started like one of those throwaway locker room moments that ESPN glosses over with dramatic music. Myles Garrett was mid-interview, probably still breathing fire from the last quarterback he tossed like a sack of potatoes, and someone asked about Shedeur Sanders, like he was talking about brushing his teeth. But in Cleveland, where quarterbacks come and go like unsaved TikToks, that was basically the equivalent of erecting a bronze statue outside the stadium.
Cleveland has 5 quarterbacks. Shedeur Sanders, obviously the hot name right now. He is number 4 on the depth chart, but he will start in the game. That's because Kenny Pickett has a nagging injury. Dylan Gabriel, Sanders' fellow draft classmate, has a nagging injury. Joe Flacco has a nagging injury, which is called being 40 years old. So he will not be out there tomorrow night. I'm almost 40, so I can say that. So it is up to Shedeur Sanders tomorrow night to start for the Browns. And really, this is his first big opportunity, Colin, because he's been taking reps so deep down the depth chart all training camp. This is his first big opportunity to say, you shouldn't have passed on me a handful of times.
And then, as if the universe wanted to stir the pot further, Joe Flacco followed it up later that day during his own media time. The press was needling him about the young guys in camp, and Flacco, who's built his entire late career persona around giving zero emotional energy to chaos, just dropped it. Shedeur? Yeah, he's got that look. You might want to start printing QB1 on his locker. Now, whether he meant that as a joke or an NFL prophecy is unclear. Flacco's deadpan is so dry it could dehydrate a cactus. But in a quarterback room that's been more unstable than a toddler on a trampoline, even a hint at Shedeur QB1 is like pouring rocket fuel on Cleveland Twitter. And oh boy, did it explode. Fans didn't just react, they erupted. One guy photoshopped Shedeur's face onto the old Brady Quinn Sports Illustrated cover. Someone edited a video of Garrett sacking a QB, but instead of the football flying out, it was Watson's contract turning to dust. YouTube lit up with titles like "The Prime Era Begins in Cleveland" and "Flacco Crowns Shedeur," complete with flaming thumbnails and question marks that could give you a migraine. You're not like the other 26. Another had Stefanski holding a rose in the Bachelor format, whispering, "Will you accept this depth chart?" It was mayhem, but also, it wasn't nothing.
What are we making of Shedeur Sanders making his pro debut? He is QB1, but just for this first preseason game.
I think, Tommy, this is a great opportunity for him. And it's driving me kind of crazy because I'm seeing a lot of people upset. Like the same people that were saying he should have been a first rounder are now upset that he's starting a preseason game because he doesn't have enough reps. This is the NFL. It isn't Pee Wee football. Like, life's not always fair. And when an opportunity presents itself like this, you've got to take advantage of it. And the crazy thing is I think Shedeur might actually do that. The one key thing, and I said this yesterday when I was on the show, like, Kevin Stefanski, what he's saying is 100% true. This is going to be the most basic, easy offensive playbook that Shedeur will ever experience in his time in the NFL. That's what week 1.
Because here's the truth. In the NFL, veterans don't just compliment rookies for fun, especially not high-profile veterans. Garrett's the face of the Browns. He's the franchise, the heartbeat. When he speaks, even casually, it echoes. And Flacco? The dude may speak in monotone, but that monotone has a Super Bowl ring and a history of mentoring QBs without faking it. If he calls you QB1, even half joking, it matters. It's like when the cool kids nod at you in the cafeteria. It doesn't mean you're in their clique yet, but you're on the radar. And in a league where rookies usually have to earn everything, this is already a head start. More importantly, this signals something even weirder for Cleveland, a possible culture shift. For years, the Browns have been the NFL's version of a group project where everyone keeps getting replaced. Dysfunction has been their mascot. But suddenly, there's this swagger. Not reckless hype, not preseason delusion, actual earned intrigue. Garrett backing a rookie, Flacco not brushing it off. This is different. It smells like belief. And belief is dangerous in Cleveland because it's been missing for so long. But let's not get carried away. Let's ask the real question now. Can Shedeur actually win QB1?
I feel bad
for Sanders that he's getting thrust into the fray when he's been getting fourth string reps. But it's, glass half full. It's a hell of an opportunity. As you said, he's a gamer. It's going to be a chance for him to maybe get some people saying, hey,
that's right.
Wait a minute. I know we love Joe Flacco, but maybe this kid does have something.
It's an incredible opportunity. Now, it does stink a little bit, like you talked about yesterday. He's coming off a little bit of an arm issue and dealing with that, and probably hasn't got as many reps as he would like. Right, but I'm kind of sick of hearing this talk a little bit of like, oh yeah, they're trying to screw themselves and not put the best player out there. That's what they're doing, RG.
Let's start with the pros. First off, the dude is coachability incarnate. His tape shows it. His demeanor confirms it. He's not some raw athlete running around like a backyard football highlight reel. Shedeur poised, composed, and insanely smart. His football IQ isn't impressive for a rookie. It's just impressive, full stop. You can throw a complicated NFL scheme at him and he'll probably diagram it back at you in cursive. And then there's his pressure tolerance. This man was basically built in a lab to handle media madness. He had ESPN cameras following him to team breakfasts. He's been the center of Primetime's media hurricane and still kept his head straight. Cleveland media? Light work. You need someone who makes the right decisions consistently. Shedeur fits that mold scarily well. He's not going to try to win every play with hero ball. He plays smart, and in Cleveland, that alone should get you a parade.
I don't think Kenny Pickett is better than Shedeur Sanders or Dylan Gabriel. I mean, Kenny Pickett been in the league, 3 years? He's never thrown for 10 touchdowns in a season. I feel like that's a bare minimum of being a decent, okay quarterback. I think Daniel Jones has done that multiple times. Everybody knows how I feel about Daniel Jones, but I don't think it's a nothing burger. I think it will change going into the season. What do you guys think? Let me know.
And finally, marketability. Look, the NFL is a product, and Shedeur is a walking billboard. The guy is made for cameras, made for hype, and most importantly, he backs it up. You slap his face on season ticket promos, and suddenly your team looks young, exciting, and relevant. But of course, this isn't a Disney movie. There are cons. For one, he's still a rookie. No matter how polished you are, the NFL hits harder than any Pac-12 edge rusher ever could. The speed of the game is brutal. The margin for error is microscopic. Rookies make mistakes, and fans who love you in July will turn on you by mid-October if your reads are late and the offense sputters. And then there's the $230 million elephant in the room, Deshaun Watson. His contract isn't just huge. It's basically a hostage situation. You don't bench that kind of money without starting a front office civil war. The don't crash the car guy. It's hard to bench that for a rookie with upside, especially when every game matters in the AFC North meat grinder.
This is his shot. This is it. I mean, I don't mean just this one game, but I'm saying this is his chance. Even though it looks like he's been practicing well, what we talked earlier, like it just seems like they don't want to give him the shot to really move up. Well, they have to now. And I salute them for not. I think to start Tyler Huntley in this game would have just been like, it would have either been insulting or he is just light years away from being ready to play in an NFL game. And so I'm glad he's getting a start. I said earlier, maybe he plays a half, Huntley plays. If he's playing well, he's going to play 3 quarters at least.
But here's the kicker. If anyone is going to break through that wall, it's Shedeur. He's not normal. His situation isn't normal. The hype, the skill, the legacy, the leadership, it's all weirdly aligned. He doesn't just belong on an NFL field, he belongs in this moment, which brings us to the long game. If Cleveland plays this right, Shedeur could be the face of the franchise moving forward. Not just a short-term spark, a real centerpiece. Pair him with guys like Amari Cooper, David Njoku, and a top 3 defense led by Garrett, and suddenly the Browns don't just look competent, they look dangerous. They look modern, fresh, fun. And let's talk about the prime effect for a second. It started at Jackson State, it exploded at Colorado, and now it's leaking into the NFL like glitter on a carpet. You can't contain it. Shedeur brings eyeballs. He brings energy. He brings youth, style, and personality. He could transform the Browns from a punchline into a cultural moment. Ticket sales would boom, jerseys would fly. The team's media numbers would go off the charts. Suddenly, the future of the league isn't just about arm strength. It's about poise, identity, and command. Shedeur's already there.
To work through that. Again, it's Shedeur and Snoop would be the quarterbacks that are playing in this game, and Snoop just got off the airplane yesterday, so catch him up. My expectations for Shedeur are no different than the rest of the guys, honestly, Mary Kay. We expect them to go operate. It's when you get in these preseason games, you try to keep it very simple so that guys can play fast. All concepts that our players know and can kind of not think too much and just play ball.
So zoom out, look at the board. You've got Garrett, the warrior leader, Flacco, the wise elder, and now Shedeur, the rising star with primetime glow. What even is this team? It's surreal, it's hilarious, it's weirdly exciting. Cleveland, a city that's practically allergic to quarterback stability, might finally have stumbled into a formula that makes sense. Or at least one that makes drama make sense. You've got a locker room whispering about Shedeur. You've got fans foaming at the mouth. You've got social media absolutely melting down. And let's not forget, this all started with two dudes barely raising their voices. One cracked a smile, one made an offhand comment. Every glance from Stefanski will be treated like prophecy. Every snap from Watson or Flacco will be a countdown clock. But make no mistake, if Shedeur keeps stacking good days, keeps looking sharp, keeps turning heads, then you can kiss that clipboard goodbye.